Let me just ask you,
Sure.
the Utah Compact, do you still support it?
I do. Yeah, I believe in the Utah Compact. I believe in the reasons behind it, and I believe in the message and the importance of all of it. Sometimes people just focus on the last part of the compact and not the first part of the compact, and I think it's important to focus on both of those. And the first part of the compact talks about law and order and the importance of supporting those who are entrusted with enforcing the laws of the land. There's this important piece about who is responsible for immigration policy and immigration law, and the Constitution is very clear that that's at the federal government. Now, sadly, the federal government has not done its job for now moving close to 40 years. I mean, really, since Ronald Reagan was president, we haven't had major reform in the immigration space. And so now we have the federal government who wasn't doing their job and now is trying to do their job, but it's really tough to get this one right, and we've made a mess of it in our country. You'll remember that coming out of the compact, Utah passed comprehensive immigration reform. Sadly, President Obama wouldn't allow us to implement it, and then President Trump wouldn't allow us to implement it. So we had both Republicans and Democrats that refused to allow us to implement this comprehensive immigration reform. I still believe to this day that if we'd been allowed to do that, and if other states could have learned from us, or the federal government could have followed us, we would be in a much better place as a country than we are today. But here we are, and so yes, I do continue to support the compact.
There are some calling for it to be reaffirmed. I know it was reaffirmed once.
Yeah.
They're calling for it to be reaffirmed given the current political climate. Would you agree to that?
Yeah, again, I think they're timeless. I don't know what reaffirming means, but the compact still exists, and it's something that I think most Utahns support and believe in, and something that, again, our country could certainly use some healing on this issue.
The fifth principle of freedom and a free society, what does that look like in Utah?
Well, look, so a free society, that's part of who we are. It's part of the ethos. The American experiment was about life, liberty, that's the freedom piece, and the pursuit of happiness. And so freedom doesn't mean you get to do anything you want whenever. We have freedom because we also have laws, and as a society we've decided that we're going to put these laws in place. But those laws should be very carefully written and implemented in a way that makes sure that we're protecting our individual rights and liberties that we believe we're endowed with from our Creator. And making that happen. And so obeying the law is part of having the society and the freedoms that we want. And so again, I know that probably means something different to everyone, but certainly in Utah it means that we're very careful before we impose obligations on people that would hamper their ability to pursue happiness and live their lives as they see fit.
How we treat immigrants, as outlined in the policy, in the compact, set us apart as a state.
Yeah, for sure.
And does that continue to do that?
Yeah, well, I hope so. And again, we've always, in everything, when you look at our refugee policies, we've always tried to be incredibly compassionate, right? And that matters. And follow the law as it's written, right? And that's the hard part that I think so many there are people on one side, right, that just see the law and order piece without any compassion, and then there are people on the other side that see we just want compassion, but we don't care what the law says. And I think that's a false choice, and I think that's what's led us to this moment where you have this being so polarized. I've said for a long time that we have to secure the border. Like that's very important, and a lot of the country agrees with that. The other side of this is we also have to reform and fix legal immigration, and part of the country really believes that side of things. And I think you have to have both of those. You have to be able to enforce the laws as they sit on the books, but we have to do it in a compassionate way, and then try to fix this piece that has been out there for so long. It would surprise people when you look at polling on this issue. This is the easiest issue to solve. There is more public agreement on immigration than just about any other very conflicted and divisive policy, in that most Republicans also believe we need to fix legal immigration. And most Democrats also believe we need to fix the border. And so it tends to be the politicians that divide us on this one, and not the way people actually feel. So I hope Utah can continue to be an example where we enforce the law, but we do so with compassion and understanding.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for taking on these important issues.